Hello, and thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Mike Tellerino. I'm the CEO and founder of K9 for Veterans. Tonight, we have a very special guest, State Representative Stephanie Kifowit, who is representing the 84th District, correct?
Correct.
Okay, Stephanie, tell us a little bit about yourself, please. Give us a little background.
Well, right after I graduated high school, I decided to join the United States Marine Corps. And I shipped out a couple months after graduation. I served from 1990 to 1994. I was enlisted, so I was an E4 corporal when I was in, and I was stationed at Camp Pendleton, California. I actually did get Marine of the Quarter one year. And then I was stationed overseas in Okinawa, Japan. And when I was in Okinawa, I got to go for 2 weeks in Korea. So I was also in Seoul, Korea as well. Came home, got my honorable discharge, and I attended Northern Illinois University on the GI Bill and the MAP grant and the Illinois State Veterans Grant, and met my husband there. And you're going to like this, Mike. My husband is an Army guy.
Go Army.
He served active duty a little bit before I did. He was stationed in Washington, D.C. as part of the old guard, so you'll like that. He was a ceremonial guy. So we met in college, NIU, graduated, have 2 kids, a dog, a house. I was a registered financial advisor. And then I decided to improve my community, and I ran for alderman in the city of Aurora. I won. And then about 9 years later, I ran for state rep and I won. And it's all about representing the veteran community and representing individuals and working really hard for the people of Illinois.
What made you decide to run for office, though? Because that takes a lot out of your personal life. That's a commitment.
Mm-hmm. I do this full time, and I'll be honest. I take my hat off to people that have to have a full-time job along with this job, because it is very, very intense, and there's a lot of information. But it's that deep-seated feeling, maybe that people get to. You can't sit on the couch and complain. You have to do something. So you can't complain about it. You have to stand up and do something. So same thing when I ran for alderman. I looked around and there were things I wanted to change, and I couldn't complain about it. I had to do something. So I ran for alderman. I ran for state rep. And like you said, have been working very hard. My focus as state rep has been on really stemming the tide of veteran suicide. Since day one, we've done a task force. I'm part of the governor's challenge now, and 100% everything we do is trying to help our service men and women who believe that this world is better without them. And I say that's not true. We want you here. Please don't leave us. We're working really hard.
Stephanie, do you know anybody personally suffering from PTSD or traumatic brain injury?
I do. It's very tough. It's very tough. And I know people in my sphere, and I know people that I've met that just disappear from my view. And then I get a text, where you at? And, they're like, I'm just hanging out. It's stressful. You want to help so much, and you want people to get help, and you want us to be. So it's tough.
It really is. I just don't feel that we do enough for our veterans returning home after serving. They put their life on hold. They put their jobs on hold, their family on hold, everything. And they come back and they really don't ask for anything. They don't come back and feel like they're entitled just because they serve. But we as a community, I don't think we're doing enough for our veterans that are coming home. We have too many homeless veterans. How we allow that to happen is, I just can't get that at all. Because, if anyone shouldn't be homeless, it should be someone who took the oath and went and served our country. Believe me, that is just a pet peeve of mine. I just don't get how we allow that to happen.
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, a lot of our homeless veterans, they suffer from post-traumatic stress, and from TBIs and things that they experienced in war. And, trying to get help to them is very important, and trying to get mental health help. And then sometimes they have negative experience with the VA. They won't go back to the
Right.
VA. And so then you have to work with them to try to find them a private provider who actually understands veterans, which is in and of itself a unique situation. Right. And then we need to put more resources to it. I mean, that's the bottom line, because it takes more effort to, and I don't know about you, that you might, but some veterans I know are a little hard-headed, just a little stubborn, just a little bit. Maybe a little. So and getting over that stigma too is trying to get people to ask for help. And when we did the Suicide Veterans Task Force, we actually had veterans come in from Texas to listen to what we were doing and to see what we were doing so they could model that in Texas as well. Right. Just outreach to our community. I mean, we heard great testimony from a student who said, I was at war and I'm a student, and now I'm sitting next to an 18-year-old who's complaining that their mom and dad didn't give them $20. I lost 3 people. I mean, there's just this disconnect. So it goes to the minutia of how veterans are recognized, like in a college setting, just to the minutia of how veterans are recognized in the work setting. Right. Are veterans forced to sit with their back to a window? That can cause a lot of stress. People don't understand even that the layout of an office could be right. Could be something. And so we have to be talking about that stuff.
We have a lot of veterans that come into our training program that just don't even leave their house. They really don't. They just don't want to venture outside. And it's just so hard for them to get the help that they need. I'm not a huge advocate of the VA. I don't feel like they're doing enough. I think it's a lot of medication. And believe me, that's not the answer. Our service dogs are never going to cure PTSD, but they make getting through the day so much easier. They truly do. It's a gift that keeps on giving. It really is. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say it is. And actually, I'm on the Governor's Challenge, and I've worked with individuals at Hines VA within the VA system, and they are expanding their alternative treatments, and they are expanding telehealth, and they are looking for alternatives to over medicating. And so
that's a big problem.
It is, and it's a slow evolution, but I do think that these programs such as art therapy and some of those other things are coming online that are really beneficial to our veterans.
We work with Rush University. They have an amazing program called the Road Home program. I mean, that bar none, hands down, is probably one of the best PTSD programs out there. They treat the whole veteran, not just the PTSD. They help the family. It's just a great program. I was going through some of the bills that you've been working on or have passed, and the one that I really like is the POW MIA flag.
Yeah.
How crazy is that they didn't think that was something that should be flown?
Yeah, one airport deems the POW MIA flag as a special interest flag, and but this again leads to the fact that the leaders in the community are not veterans. Civilians don't quite get it. So I don't fault civilians for not getting it, right? But we need more veterans involved in every layer of government there is, whichever party or no party. I know a lot of veterans are like of no party. That's fine, independence. But this is something that just was the view of individuals, that it was a special interest flag and it wasn't such a national symbolic flag. So some of these bills are small, but really impactful, that we had to pass a law to mandate that all the Illinois airports fly the POW MIA flag.
I love it. I really do. That's something that shouldn't even be in question that they do. I also was noticing you have a for the driver's license designation veteran. I know myself, when I went down to the driver's license facility, I had to bring a book of documents to get that designation on my driver's license. It was crazy. And now I guess you streamlined that whole process.
Correct. All you have to do now is, I believe, bring a DD-214 to the driver's license place. when it was initially set up in, I guess you can say in red tape government fashion, you had to go and get your DD 214 certified at the veteran VSO, and then you could bring it, and then you'd have to drive all over the place. It was very cumbersome. So I sat down with the Secretary of State's office, and they were really great to work with, and we just streamlined it. And you know, sometimes it takes a little bit of thinking outside the box to get it done.
Yeah. I was also noticing one of your other bills, and this one really affects K9 because we foster a lot of our dogs out to families. I guess fosters were being charged more money or a fee for fostering a dog at home if it was from a shelter, correct?
Right.
Is that how that works?
This is an example of legislation that was relevant back in the day when foster facilities were foster facilities. And now with the ingenuity and, again, thinking outside the box, foster homes emerged, and it found out that they were categorized foster homes the same as they would categorizing foster facilities, you know, the big facilities. And so we worked to exempt them because that's just, you know, a sign of the times. We're changing our model, so the law has to change with it. One of the things we're working on as well is breed discrimination. Now, I own a little 50-pound pit bull. I'll you know, I got it from the pound, and she's a little quirky, you know. But you know, there's housing developments that discriminate against certain breeds, and I had a way back in the day. In the 90s, I had a Doberman German Shepherd mix, and I think she was a little bit more aggressive than my little 45-pound pit bull. So, you know, it's just narrow-minded thinking, and you know, veterans need their. In fact, here's a story you'll like. There's a veteran I know that has a therapy dog, a support dog for anxiety and PTS. I say PTSI. I don't think it's a disorder. I think it's an injury. And got admitted to a master's program, I believe in Columbia, New York. And they sent him a letter that said he could have no pets in the housing. And when I read about this on Facebook, I sent an email to the dean of housing saying, look, veterans need their animals, and they gave him a waiver, and he was able to take his animals. So, you know, just doing those little things helps so much.
We have a lot of discrimination with our veterans and their service dog. I mean, actually ask them to leave. We had an incident where a veteran went for a tattoo, and they threw this guy out. Just, you can't come in with that dog. Well, you don't get it. These dogs are protected by the ADA. They're as protected as a CNI dog. And they have to be allowed to go into public places. The only place they can't go into is a hospital, you know, operating room. But you wouldn't believe the ignorance of a lot of businesses that just say, we're not serving you. You can't come in with that dog. Well, this isn't just a dog. This is a lifeline for this veteran. You know, I mean, that's why he's out there today in your restaurant, because he has his service dog. Typically, he wouldn't have been out, you know, so it's very important that we raise awareness that a service dog isn't an emotional support dog. Emotional support dog, a service dog provides a task for a veteran. They have to provide a task. Emotional support dog is just that. It's just there to make you feel good.
Right.
Well, our dogs are trained to provide tasks for our veterans. So it's very important that the public become aware of what a service dog is. So thank you for all these bills that you've been doing. You have a bill now, if we could talk about it, H390. Sure. Let me tell you, somebody brought this to my attention. They said, Michael, did you know there's a bill with K9 for veterans on it? I went, no. So, you know, I looked into it, and I was just taken back by that. I mean, that will mean so much to our organization. You know, as you know, for the past year, we haven't been able to get out and do anything. We haven't raised hardly any funds because of the COVID virus. So that bill was be a blessing to us. We will be able to help so many more veterans with that funding. So I want to thank you. I know you're a co-sponsor on that bill, right? So
Right.
um, I
And
don't know.
I'm on the budget group, so we're gonna. Most of the time, these bills are bills that we file of intent, and then when the whole budget comes together, you know, line item by line item. So I'm on the budget group too, and I'm gonna be looking for that line item as well.
You keep looking for that.
Yes, it's just so important, and like you said, you know, I know so many veterans that need their dog because of anxiety, because of all sorts of internal injuries. And
Hmm.
oh, is that your phone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Oh,
Good song.
sorry.
No, that's
That's
okay.
bad.
I'm just
That
saying
is,
that, you know, they need these dogs, and they're trained to recognize anxiety or high stress situations. And
yes, they are.
a lot of war veterans, and now I, you know, served in the 90s, so I was part of that. Women veterans were not allowed in combat. Now everything's changed for our current female veterans, female service members, which I think is great. So I was support, but when people are in combat, when individuals are in combat, see combat, they don't like being in a crowd of people they don't know. It's very, very stressful. It triggers a lot. And having that service dog is just, like you said, it can be something from debilitating anxiety to, okay, I'm going to get out and get a cup of coffee, or I'm going to get out and I'm going to enter the world. And so
Right.
it definitely need to have those supports there.
Most of our veterans will say before they got their service dog, when they would walk into a public setting, they would feel like everybody was staring at them, and that made them very uncomfortable. When they walk in with their service dog, now the focus is more on the dog than it is on them. So it's much easier for them to walk into a public setting because now people are going to ask, "Oh, what's your dog's name? What kind of dog is that?" So now they're even forced to have a conversation with people that they typically wouldn't have a conversation with, that they would avoid. So it's really, it just opens so many doors for our veterans. It really does.
And we need to make sure that the dogs are trained. Now, unfortunately, not veterans, but I've seen individuals with what you said, these feel good dogs that, you know, they're not trained, and they're misbehaved, and they give service dogs a bad name. And I know that we're working on the state to look at credentialing, and not this year, but we're looking long term about credentialing and proper signage on the dog so that they know that it's a properly trained service dog, not just a dog that somebody loves that they want to keep with them. You know, I mean, there's a distinction there that you have to have a dog that can behave in a restaurant.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
A dog leaving presents like my dog does in the backyard.
Yeah, right.
In an environment. So that's another thing that we look on is to make sure that and that we're looking at and working on long term for that kind of designation for the dog. Which
Yeah,
is,
you know what? I would love to see that because all our service dogs, whether they're in training or a certified service dog, they all wear a vest, and it all says "service dog." Please don't touch, don't pet, or whatever. But you could really see that they are a service dog
right.
because they have it. But here's the problem: now you can go online, buy a vest, buy patches, get a certification online that it's a service dog for $25.
Yeah.
So, you know, what you're going to do with that law, whether it's this year or next year, that's going to be a huge benefit to our service dogs in general.
Oh, definitely. That's in our long-term plan. I mean, we're working on that and trying to work very hard. This year also submitting legislation to create a comprehensive veteran suicide commission within the state of Illinois, which goes to what you were talking about. It's bringing all the heads of departments of the state of Illinois together once a quarter to see how every aspect from DNR to the Department of Ag, or DNR, sorry, the Department of Natural Resources, the Department of Ag, the Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Child and Family Services, and along with even more obscure departments can come together and look at how can we as a state come together, all our departments, the Attorney General and veterans, to look at the holistic view of veteran suicide, family services, the support, mental health, the job. DCEO is part of it, jobs and all that. So that's legislation right now being considered in that I have filed in the Illinois House as well. So
we created and built a memorial in Shanahan State Park. It's the only memorial anywhere of its size. It's called the Forgotten Warrior Memorial. It's to honor our veterans that committed suicide because of their PTSD, just to give their family some kind of acknowledgement that their loss wasn't in vain, that somebody recognizes that it just wasn't a suicide. It's that old cliche, it was wound that you can't see. So, 22 veterans a day is 21 too many.
No, and I 22 too many. And right. I agree. I think and we had testimony in the Veteran Suicide Task Force from parents whose service member children committed suicide while on active duty, and the DOD didn't acknowledge that as a suicide or anything like that. And so I think that those kind of things to show that I believe that a veteran who unfortunately completes suicide, that is a injury from war. That is a death from the service, a service connected.
Without a doubt.
And we have to be cognizant of that. And we also have to look at the differences between female veterans and male veterans. Female veterans, they have a delayed response because normally they're coming home and they have kids and they have stuff. And normally after end of service, like 4 or 5 years after end of service, is when the depression and some of those feelings start coming in on female veterans. So we also have to recognize that it's different. It's different between male and female service members. And myself, I do get a little bit of a chuckle because I have a pink cover that says Woman Marine on it, and I wear it. And I think in the last couple of years, I got 1 or 2 people to tell me thank you for your service. But I laugh. I hang out with my American Legion buddies and stuff. Everybody's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And they're wearing their ball covers. But when I wear my ball cover, so we gotta treat all veterans equally and thank all veterans as well.
When I go to a school to bring a service dog so these youngsters could see what a service dog is and a veteran, the last thing I tell them when I leave is, you know what? When you see a veteran, walk up to them and thank them for their service. It doesn't cost anything. Let them know that you appreciate the sacrifices that they made. It doesn't cost anything, and it's just a simple act of, letting them know that we did care, we do care, Stephanie, I don't know if you confirmed or not yet for the service dog dedication. We are having a service dog dedication April 10th at the Stone City VFW in Joliet, where it's an awesome ceremony. We actually present the veteran with his service dog. It's a full-blown ceremony. We have an honor guard there. We have a blessing of the dogs. It's a really, it's a night they should have got when they came home, but didn't get. This is a night that's all about the veterans. So if you could find it within your schedule, and I know you're busy, we would love you to walk in and present one of those service dogs to a veteran.
Oh, definitely. I'd love to do it. My schedule is very chaotic. In fact,
I know.
I hate to say it, but because we have virtual committee hearings throughout the week, and that I believe is a weekend day. I don't. Once in a while, my family likes to see me, even though I'm zooming from home. Sometimes they see me run out and grab a cup of coffee and come back into my office. But normally my schedule gets set about a week and a half before. But I definitely want to do it. I'm excited about it. I'm going to try my hardest.
If you could fit it in, we would be honored. I have to tell you, what you're doing for your community and for our veterans, I have to tell you, I wish we had a lot more people like yourself running for office, especially veterans, like we were talking about earlier. So I want to thank you for joining me tonight. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing, just to get out that we haven't covered on?
I'm the only, well, I want to say I'm the only Marine in the General Assembly, 179 individuals, but my office is always open, and it doesn't matter where in the state veteran lives or resides, and they can just Google my name. My phone numbers are out there, my emails are out there, and if somebody's in need to talk to somebody or is in need of help, I know we have a lot of unemployment issues with our unemployment systems. People are struggling still because of the global pandemic, but please reach out. You can reach out to me anytime. I have people from Barrington all the way down to Southern Illinois and Peoria. Veterans reach out to me or reach out to someone. But please, please, we want you here.
Why don't you give us your website or your where they could reach you at?
Yeah, my official website is IL and then district spelled out DISTRICT 84.com.
Good.
IL district. Or you can go to the state website of ilga.gov and click on my name. .gov, awesome. Not .com. ilga.gov, G-O-V. G-O-V, yes.
Stephanie, I can't thank you enough. Again, I was taken back about House Bill 390. You have no idea what that means to our organization, believe me, and the veterans that it's going to help. So keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing an amazing job for our veterans. Thank you for being on my podcast today. Looking forward to working with you and talking with you again in the future.
And with the vaccine schedule, and the VA is vaccinating all veterans, please be healthy, and I might see you in person one of these days.
I went and got mine. I got both mine.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, it was awesome. Stephanie, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.